How you guys doing? How you guys doing? Welcome to a very special Love is the Parable and Lenora Pours by Lenora Lassiter collaboration, where we're going to be bringing to you uncovering the 4 C's of your gemstone. This is a career readiness and career development workshop. And so before we get into the presentation, I definitely want to give my co-host an opportunity to introduce herself and tell you guys a little bit about her. So, Lenora, take it away.
Welcome, everybody, to our episode of Uncovering the 4 C's of Your Gemstone. So I am Lenora Lassiter. I am a people builder. So I basically build people and I wear many hats. So I build in different capacities. First and foremost, I am a life coach. I am also an author. I am a singer. I'm also in ministry. And I am a career coach, a certified professional resume writer, and the list goes on. And I do have a book entitled Fighting from Darkness, How Long Will You Color Greatness? That covers my story of uncovering one of my gems, which is embracing my authentic self and how I overcame the obstacle of colorism. So get that book. It is a great read, also very inspiring and transforming. You definitely will enjoy it. And I also have another book called Sister Pour Into Me. It's a journal, which will allow you the opportunity to just read and journal and basically do some self-assessment. So I am so happy to be partnering with my great friend, my great brother, Jay, on this live today. So thank you so much, Jay, for having me.
Not a problem at all. The pleasure is definitely all mine. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get started. I think what is happening is your volume probably on your phone is a little high. So you might want to turn your volume off of your phone because I know that you're going to get notifications while all of that is happening. So guys, if you haven't had a chance, please do go make sure that you like, follow, share, subscribe to Lenora Pours by Lenora Lassiter. You can also visit lenoralassiter.com and we'll provide a little bit more of that information later on as well. But because we only have an hour, I definitely don't want to belabor too much of your time. So we're going to go ahead and get started into uncovering the 4 C's of your gemstone. So sometimes you got to let everything go, purge yourself. If you are unhappy with anything, whatever is bringing you down, get rid of it. Because you'll find that when you're free, your true creativity, your true self comes out. That was a quote by Tina Turner, and that's true. See, sometimes we're convinced to believe that desperate times call for desperate measures. But is it really calling for a desperate measure, or is it calling for a creative measure? Because sometimes when our backs are against the wall, we are pushed into places that are uncomfortable, but that doesn't mean that they are set up for our demise as much as they are set up for us to exercise and stretch certain parts of us that we have not stretched before. So you might be going through something right now, but that doesn't mean that this is going to take you out as much as it's going to bring you out and be an opportunity for you to elevate in certain areas that you are in. So allow that true self to come out. You have to make sure that you understand your foundation. A lot of times there is a stress about what we're standing on, but I will challenge you to go a little further and look, what are you rooted in? Because there are certain areas in your life that you need to understand that you are rooted, and so you can fully stand on where you need to stand. So I want to challenge you to look at your roots. We have one of our sorors on, Latrenda, who is on. She's saying, hey, from Facebook land. So yeah, if you're on, definitely greet us and let us know. And if you have any questions, put those questions in the comments so we can make sure that we answer them. We have an hour together, so we definitely want to make sure that we answer any of the questions that you guys have. So your foundation, I want you to really look at that foundation and really make sure that you have a clear understanding. So let's talk about career readiness. Career readiness is nothing more than a broad approach at looking at certain requisite competencies to make sure that one is prepared for the workforce. And that includes critical thinking, problem solving, oral written communication, teamwork and collaboration, digital technology. Yes, we're living in those times, guys. Leadership, professionalism, and work ethic. Also, career management. And then global and intercultural fluency. And if you really think about it, we're dealing with those things now, right? So we want to make sure that we have a clear understanding of these competencies, and this is a broad scope of them, okay? So that we'll be prepared to go into the workforce. And then you have career development. Now, career development is nothing more than looking at how well you manage work, leisure, and transitions. We want to make sure that when life happens for us, especially when we get into those jobs or those careers, that we are properly managing these different areas of our life. Some people like to call it work-life balance, right? Well, in order to have a work-life balance, you got to recognize those different areas. What I do professionally, what I do personally, and then the transitions in between. So you definitely want to make sure that you recognize those and handle them well. So I know you're saying, well, Jay, career readiness versus career development. Break that down for me. Basically, in order to move in this world, in order to make sure that you're navigating professionally and personally, I would challenge everyone who's listening to make sure that you have a life vision statement. You have to have a vision for where you want to go, where you see yourself. So if you don't have a life vision statement, I encourage you to get one now. A lot of times our life vision statements are our mantras. Mine is, I believe that everyone has the ability to experience change in a single thought. So you want to make sure that, guess what? You have one, because what I do is position myself to influence change, because I believe that if I can change the mind of certain people, I can influence change, and that's my realm of influence. Lenora Pours has a great one. Hers is, she that everyone, what is it? We were created with a purpose, and that purpose is to pour into the lives of others.
Yes.
We were born for a purpose, and that purpose is to pour into the lives of others. So she aligned herself to be in positions where she pours into others, but empowers others to pour. You see how if you have a vision statement, you will know how to accept employment, but also reject employment. So you need a life vision statement, because that provides direction for your life. Then we have Crystal Bodie-Smith on. She said, hello and good topic. She said, great topics for development, very necessary for people that make necessary adjustments and not excuses. I couldn't agree more. That's why you want to get involved in also making sure that you have a vision statement for your life.
Yes.
If you wouldn't go to a company that really didn't have a vision statement or a mission. How can you not have a vision statement for yourself as well? Okay.
And Jay, can I add something real quickly to that?
Yes, you can.
And I like that about the vision statement, because as you stated, mine is you were born for a purpose, and that purpose is according to the lives of others. So if I am not being aligned in any area of my life where I'm not seeing that I'm making an impact or pouring, then I cannot be a part of that. So I want to ensure that anything that I do is done intentionally and also aligns with that vision statement. So you yourself, as Jay was stating, it is very important that you have a vision statement. So if what someone is asking you to do, whether it be an employer, family member, etc., if it does not align to your vision statement, then you probably need to steer away from it, because it's going to bring conflict within yourself. So that's a great point that you brought out.
And the great thing is, a lot of people don't know how to handle that personal conflict with themselves. So what ends up happening is we project onto others and have an expectation for others to deal with the own inner war that we're dealing with. Speaking of that inner war, I'm about almost 3 months ago, I was faced with a challenge that I was being laid off from my employer. And I admit I was devastated. Why? Because this was the third time that I was receiving a layoff in my professional career. Not only was I receiving this layoff the third time, this one was unexpected because I switched careers. After spending 19 years in higher ed, I switched over to IT thinking that, okay, this is a more credible field. I have longevity in it. And then I loved my job. And then I was dealt with the devastating news. So about for 2 weeks, I really sat on it. And then on a Friday, I said, you know what? I have to deal with the cards that I was accepted, and I am going to make a video resume. And so I actually made a video resume, and I'll talk about that a little bit. So I'm going to show it for everyone if they haven't had a chance to see it.
Hi, my name is Gemstone, and I am actively seeking employment. I have over 19 years of experience in higher ed, with 12 to 15 years being in senior or executive leadership. Equally, I have worked in mental and behavioral health, as well as worked in IT. If one was to look at my resume, they would see that the common thread is that I never really said no and believed in giving everything a fair shot. With every position that I worked, I was always introduced with, hey, Jay, do you believe you can? And because of that, I gave everything a fair shot and I was successful and gained so many skill sets that I'm able to use in cross professions today. As hard as I've worked in the professional sector, I've also spent many years working in the community as well, working for nonprofit organizations as well as religious institutions, helping with administration, restructure, time management, just being a resource in various sectors. Yes, I even have marketing experience, website design, and actually some analytics as well, because I believe in just learning and being one who serves. I believe that I have a lot of skills that are transferable and can be used in various sectors. I have a successful track record for working for some major organizations that are well recognized. Equally, I am available for contract or full-time work. I can be reached at jdwaynegarnett.com, or you can email me at jdwaynegarnett.com. I believe that if recruiters can change the way that they recruit, I think it's the job of the job seeker to change the way that we seek jobs.
Yeah, so that was my resume video. And yes, it was a gamble. Yes, it was a risk. But it was when I stacked the cards up against everything, I realized that I had nothing to lose, and it actually did work in my favor. It garnered over 5,000, almost 6,000 views on Facebook, almost 2,000 views on LinkedIn. And keep in mind, I wasn't really active on LinkedIn like that. The most I had on LinkedIn ever in a view was like, 19 views. But this one went crazy where I had people reaching out to me from all over the state. Some people in even different countries reaching out to me, really encouraging me, but also offering different types of jobs and all of that. I got multiple job offers, and I got multiple contract offers and speaking engagements from that video. And that's why Lenora and I partnered together, because we're like, hey, we need to figure out a way to give back, because this success should not be held to just one person. This is something we should share with everyone. And
Absolutely.
And with Lenora having the professional background, working in the profession, we even talked about how this was a gamble, and we're going to talk about that assumed risk as well a little bit later. But it worked out in my favor, because you have to know how to be creative and strategic in the market that we're living in. I was forced to be competitive in an extremely competitive place. So now it was time for me, guess what? I knew what I was rooted in. So my foundation was checked, and I understand my field, I understand my craft, but I understand the vision statement that I have for my life, and nothing was going to stop it. I released my video on a Friday, and I was literally interviewing on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sunday.
Wow.
So things like that happen. I remember people saying, wait till Monday to do things. No, I dropped it immediately, and it garnered me success. And I want to encourage and challenge you guys to do the same. So let's talk about uncovering your gemstone. Before we really get into the specifics of it, you got to understand how things look. With Love is a Parable, we teach something that is called a sacred box. And that is nothing more than the most valuable things that have happened to you, your life experiences that shape the concept of you. And from that concept of you, there is an ideal self. There is a you that you would like the world to perceive you. And then there is someone who you organically are. If there is a conflict between the ideal self and self-image, it affects one's self-esteem and confidence. And fortunately for me, I've mastered being at a place where how people see me and who I am are more aligned, so I can execute with confidence who I am and what it is. The back half of this idea that we have comes from some market researchers who believe that consumers, it's called a self-congruity theory, who believe that consumers purchase based on their personality. If you haven't taken the time to, one, get your life mission, your life statement together, you need to really find out the things that you value and how you perceive yourself, because based on how you perceive yourself will determine the positions that you think that you're eligible for. And you want to make sure that you are aligning yourself with positions that not only fit your personality, but fit where you're trying to go in life. So that's why it's very important to examine the things that you find valuable, but also how they shape who you are, and then how people perceive you and how you would like for people to perceive you, and making sure that they are aligned as well, so you can execute with confidence the positions that you want and the opportunities that you need for you to have a sense of value and purpose in your own life. Is there anything you want to add to that, Lenora? Are you good?
You're good. You're good. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So from there, once you have a clear understanding of your self-concept, you want to make sure that your self-concept is aligned with your vision statement so that you can choose correct career pathing, or pathing that is more aligned with you. That's why it's very important. That vision statement for you is the bridge between the concept of you and your career pathing choices. So you want to make sure that you are aligned so that you can have a sense of balance in the areas that you execute, and also with a sense of fulfillment. This is very important when it comes to seeking employment. Now let's talk about cut. That's the second C. We did clarity, which is the first C. Now we're going to go into cut, which is resume and interview prepping. Lenora, is on you.
Awesome. So let's roll to the next slide. So one of the things that you want to focus on when writing a resume is making sure that your resume is intentional, making sure that you have the understanding that your resume is basically your marketing tool. The individuals who are looking at your resumes, they cannot see you, but they see what's on the paper. But even before it gets into the hands of that individual, it goes through what is called an applicant tracking system. But we'll talk more on that a little later. Looking at it from a viewpoint of a marketing tool, basically, this is what they see you as. It's basically a soft introduction on, just using me for an example, who Lenora is. It's also providing them with your elevator speech. Some people may call it your value proposition, and it's advocating for you, even though you're not physically there to advocate for yourself. So basically, whenever you have a resume, and as being a certified professional resume writer, one of the things that you definitely want to focus on is that professional summary. making sure that it aligns to the position that you are applying to. So that professional summary is the clear vision as far as what you want to do, but making sure that it aligns to the position that you are going for. For an example, if I'm going for a position as a project manager and the position says project manager director, then make sure that you are specific and put project management director, project manager director, because when it goes to that applicant tracking system, it's picking up on those keywords. So make sure that you have a clear vision and that you are presenting yourself in the most valuable way. All right, we're going to roll on a little further. Again, making sure that you have a clear message for the employer, because generally when they read that professional summary, they're going to take about a 30-second scan. And if they do not see any of the keywords or the skill sets that is transferable to that position, or it is exact in alignment to that position, they're not even going to read any further down to your resume. So make sure that your resume has a clear message at the top. If that message at the top is not good, it's just like reading the first few pages of a book. If it don't grasp their attention, then they're not even going to read any further. So make sure that that's key. Okay. All right. Moving right along, when writing your resume, you want to look at two different, I would say, perspectives. One of the perspectives is you want to make sure that your accomplishments are bulletized. Make sure they're listed in bullets versus a blurb. Now, in some resumes, you can have like a 2-sentence blurb, and then under the 2-sentence blurb, you can have the different bullet points. But most employers, they do not want to read paragraphs and paragraphs of your accomplishments. They want to read it in bullet format. So make sure that when you're writing your resume that you have it in bullet format. Okay. And also I want to touch on one thing that is Lou.
Eleanor,
yes.
Before we move forward, there's a clicking in your mic. So you get this weird.
Clicking?
Yeah. So just check your
now.
settings real quick. So yeah, I just tested it there. So yeah, you sound better now.
I sound better?
Yes, I think that they may have not heard the difference between the bullet and the blurb just well.
So I'll go back and say it again.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the difference between the bullet and the blurb, most employers, they don't want to read a blurb. They don't want to read paragraphs. So you want to make sure that you bulletize your accomplishments, list them in bullets. They're easy read. Now you can actually do what we call a hybrid, where you may list a 2-sentence and blurb type of style, and then under the blurb type of style, then you can list the bullet. So you can do the two. And if you notice here, Sally Smith has her professional summary listed. And one thing that I also want to talk to you regarding the heading of your resume, do not list your actual home address. Just list your city and list your state due to safety issues, okay? Make sure. And another thing, if you are looking to, for an example, relocate to a particular area, if your zip code is out of the geographical area where you are applying to, then a lot of times it will kick it out the applicant tracking system. So if you're looking to relocate to the area, go ahead and include that city and state and zip code in there, because a lot of times if it's out of a certain geographical area, it will kick your resume out of the system. But it's very important, as in the title of this slide, make sure that you research the desired role that you're looking to obtain to ensure that those keywords are in that professional summary piece. Okay. And these are some resume do's. Use action verbs. Don't use fluff. Just get to the point. When you're starting your bullet, just say superintend or developed or spearheaded. Use those type of action verbs. Don't say successfully. What does successfully mean to that hiring manager? They just need to see the action verb and some of the things that you've actually done. Make sure that you use short, concise sentences. Don't go on and on and on. That will lead to those blurbs and lead to those paragraphs. Keep them short, and also use quantifiable data. And that's where you see the number sign, the percents, and the amounts. How much did you save the company over the last 6 months? How much did you bring into the company over the last few months? How many budgets did you oversee, and what's the amount of those budgets? So keep all of those things in mind as you're writing your resume. Keep your resume easy to read. Don't have things all over the place. Just keep it nice, simple, and clean. And make sure that the information that you're listing in your resume is relevant. Do not go back to 2000, when generally most employers want to see the last 10 years on your resume, and the information they want to see is current and relevant to the position description. So I always tell my clients, review the position description. After you have reviewed the position description, highlight those skills that you have, highlight those transferable things that you think can possibly be transferred into the position that you're going for, and integrate it into your resume. Okay. These are some resume don'ts. Do not say, I supervise 10 individuals. No, just put supervise 10 individuals on a daily basis, ensuring that they did X, Y, and Z. Okay. So you can think it, but never say it. That's why we have that little blurb there. Do not include references on your resume. That is a no-no. Generally, references are requested from the employer if they have an interest in moving further along the process with you as far as the interview process. And do not have a lot of irrelevant information, which is non-essential information, conveyed in your resume. Only list the information that is relevant. And again, I keep harping on the point, review that position description, and whatever you see in that position description, make sure that it's mirrored somewhere in your resume. Do not make misrepresentation. If you do not have the skill, please do not list it into your resume, because what happens is that if they bring you on board and you say you did this, that, and the other, X, Y, and Z, and whenever they ask you to do that task, then you're not able to do it. Basically, misrepresentation is, unfortunately, just have to call it like it is. It's a lie. So you don't want to lie on your resume. All right. And do not include any personal information such as your marital status, such as your sex. Do not include your social security number. Do not include any type of pictures. Just keep it simple, all right? And these are some other things to consider. Make sure that you research the company, okay? It's very important that you research the company. You can go onto the company's Facebook page. You can go onto the company's LinkedIn page, any type of social media platforms that the company may have a presence in. Research the company and see what they have to offer, because a lot of times when we go to an interview, we think, oh my goodness, they're interviewing me. No, it's just not that they're interviewing you, but you want to make sure that you are interviewing that company as well. Look up the core values. Look at the company culture. Look at the reviews. That's so important. To look at the reviews from the company, because you know what? Some companies you don't want to work for. I'm just being honest. So research the company and see if that is a culture that you see yourself working in. Also on a resume, refrain from professional exclusive jargon unless within the same profession. And this is very important to individuals who are in the military. A lot of times they use a lot of acronyms, and just not limited to the military, but I just use the military because I work a lot with military service members and military spouses, and they use a lot of jargon, okay? Civilians, employers don't know the jargon that is being used. So make sure that you don't use jargon. Now, if you do use an acronym, this is what I tell people. Spell the acronym out and then put the acronym in parentheses. Why? Because ADA can mean something different for another company. So make sure that you do that. A great tool that you can use to find out more information concerning various job titles is ONET. That's the Occupational Information Network website. You can go on there and they have various job titles and also various skills or responsibilities for those various jobs. So a lot of times job titles can be very similar, but have a different title in different industries. So just make sure that you cross-reference that and use the correct job title based upon the industry. Vision alignment. So this kind of goes back to what Jay was saying earlier. Make sure that, recap, a clear message. What can I do for the company? What are your personal strengths? What can you bring to the company? What type of impact will your presence make whenever you join this company? That's very, very important. Not just, I'll be a good fit. No, what will your impact bring? What will your skill set do for this company? That's one of the things that you want to make sure that you take into consideration. Your branding profile, basically, those are your great accomplishments. What can you bring to the company? And as I stated earlier, and that professional summary part, that's part of your branding. That is what they will know about you without them really being able to talk to you physically. They can see you on paper and become attracted to what they see as your branding profile and say, hey, we want to bring this person in for more engagement regarding this position that we have available. Make sure that you focus and research. Make the information count. And again, that goes back to the point of review that position description. Whatever's in that position description, make sure that it is somehow integrated into your resume. Now, don't just copy and paste. We don't want you to do that. But there is a power of taking those words and switching those words around that will still bring clarity what you can do for that company. As we stated earlier, make sure that you highlight your accomplishments in bullet format versus a blurb and make it relevant. Whenever you research that company, you know what their mission is, you know what their core values are. Make sure they're somehow illuminated as well in your resume. You can also make a little bonus here, but don't go too far off the ledge on this next point. But I'll bring clarity to adding a little flair or subtle font changes or colors. That is based upon the industry. So if you're going as a graphic designer, guess what? Then you can put a little spin on your resume so they can see those graphics, see those things of that nature. But if you're going for more of the corporate sector or after you research the company, you want to make sure that you kind of keep things nice, clean, and neat. Don't do a lot of tables. Don't do a lot of colors. The reason being is because it goes to the applicant tracking system, and those ATS systems sometimes can be very, very, very sensitive. And if they see those types of things, they can kind of kick your resume out. However, again, I do want to bring clarity, and I don't want to sound like I'm giving you ambiguous information. Research the industry, and based upon the industry, then that will give you the leadway on what you can possibly bring a little flair to, okay? Be proud. This is you. This is a reflection of you. This is your career advocate. So be proud in your resume. Be proud of what's in your resume. And if you're not comfortable or if you have not written a resume in a while, then there are professional resume writers that are out there that can assist you in developing a great foundational resume that you can use and learn how to tailor it to other specific jobs. So keep that in mind. And to put a plug in, I am a certified professional resume writer, so I'm here to assist you. Jay's laughing. If you need that help, I've been doing this for 10 plus years now, and I'm good at what I do. I'm great at what I do, and I can definitely assist you in that particular area. All right, your life is a resume. It is a resume indeed. And keep this in mind. Every connection matters. A person that you may meet may not necessarily have a job to offer you, but guess what? They always have advice, they have information, and they may know someone who knows someone who's looking to fill a certain position. So never disregard any type of relationships that you may have in your life, because you never know who knows who. Okay, so that's very, very key. LinkedIn is highly beneficial, where you can connect with people on LinkedIn and also talk to them about various opportunities. Now, again, they may not necessarily have a position for you, but just get to know a little bit more about the company. That's another way to build connections. And just a hello in the supermarket, whatever, with your mask on, man, talk to people. Hey, you will be surprised at what you can find out. Every interaction is a learning opportunity. Never disregard any type of interaction. Interaction with people is beneficial. You can always learn something from someone. And also in conversation, as I stated, you never know. They may have a friend who's looking for someone in your career field to fill a vacancy within their company. Okay. So keep that in mind as well. And last but not least, don't discredit contract work and fee for service opportunities. If you did it as a freelancer, there is nothing, and let me repeat that again, nothing wrong with including that on your resume. If you have volunteered somewhere, if you're not getting paid, put it on your resume. It shows them that, hey, this person is doing something with their downtime. Okay. So don't discredit anything. You can integrate it. A certified professional resume writer can assist you, or a resume writer can assist you in that particular area, learning how to tweak and put that information right into your resume to make you seem, hey, like you're a subject matter expert in that particular area. All right.
You have a few comments and a few supporters. You had Sherry that was on there. She talked about the sacred box. She said there's some great information, and she also co-signed that you are great at what you do. And then you have Rashia, who said relationships equal resources. Absolutely. So she's bringing that financial backing experience as well, validating your point. And then, of course, Sherry said exactly to your point as well. But then we're going to talk about one thing that a lot of people don't understand that's an extension of your resume. Have a virtual business card, guys. Virtual business cards are now the way to go, and it actually helps you stand out amongst everyone else. While people are running to the car, looking in their folder, you can looking in their pockets, looking in wherever to find a business card or something to write down information. You can have a virtual business card, have somebody to pull out their phone, and guess what? As simple as a text message, an email being sent, or QR code, and you can have all of your information. I actually have a virtual business card. So when they open up their phone, this is what they see. They get an opportunity to see the card detail and download that information to their device. And look at this. All of my information instantly comes in. So now I'm a step above my competition because all of my information is in there. My pet peeve, if you have a LinkedIn, you better change that custom URL because you got a custom URL. Don't have your LinkedIn /0049766. Go ahead and change it to be your name or be very close to your name so it can look professional. And that can be included in your virtual card. And if you don't have a website, you can't afford a website right now, you can do something as simple as Google Sites. Get you a page, put your resume up there, put that link in your virtual business card. So when they have it, guess what? They have all of your information. They don't have to look for it. They will actually have it at their fingertips, and that will actually help you stand up above the rest also. And if there's information that you want to change, you can change your pictures and all of that information, and they'll get those updates as well because it's in their phone. It's in their device. So you definitely want to get you a virtual business card. Thank you so much for leading most of that, Lenora. That cut, how we're cut above the rest and showing our difference is so important. And that resume and interview prepping will get us there. So I'm going to talk about embracing your shine a little bit with your color, the third C, and also interviewing. And we're going to do this together. So in the interview, guys, ask about the dress code. You want to blend in, but in the right way. And you want to make sure that you're not overdressed or underdressed for a position. It has happened. And I can tell you, having 12, 15 years of experience in senior and executive leadership, woo, I can tell you that conversation comes up because we will ask, well, it seemed like they didn't research for the position that they are applying for. And a lot of people make a decision quick on if you are a good fit based on how you dress for an interview. And so you definitely want to ask about dress code, what is considered professional there, because in some places, especially like in the IT, and you talk about creative industries, a polo is considered interview attire. So you come in there with a suit, they're like, yeah, he's new to this. So you definitely want to make sure that you are asking about that question about the dress code. Lenora?
And the second one, as I alluded to that earlier, remember you are interviewing the company as well. So whenever you go to an interview, make sure that you have some questions that you want answer from the interview panel. For an example, ask them, what is the company culture like? What is it that you like? What is it that you like, and what is something that you dislike about the company or your position? What are some of the professional development opportunities do your company offer? What is the work-life balance? How do you all, view work-life balance with your company? Again, go in with those particular questions. Also, if it's a new position, why was the position created and why now? Those are questions that you can ask your potential employer. Why? Because you want to make sure that you also are a great fit for this company and that it is also aligning to your vision statement. So that's very, very key.
And then you want to ask about how are expectations measured. A lot of times we talk about KPIs, which are key performance indicators. We also talk about metrics, different ways that we are measured, but you want to know, what is the expectation? How are these things going to take place? Because you want to make sure that you have, one, an expectation, but also you have some familiarity with what is expected of you and what you need to achieve in order to accept or deny that particular position. Lenora?
Another thing that you want to look at is, what is the company culture and how is it maintained? Again, is this a company that you see yourself working at? How do they value their employees? And do they offer any type of incentives, or how do they celebrate various achievement of their employers? These are things that you want to keep in mind, because the company culture affects the morale of the employees, and you want to ensure that there's continuity that is maintained, that is not something that they start and stop, because all of that affects the company's productivity. So make sure that you ask that particular question, research, and look at these different websites. Salary.com, there's a lot of websites. Go on LinkedIn and look and see what previous employers are saying about the company. Now, keep in mind, some people may have left and they're a little bitter, but hopefully you'll be able to use your judgment to kind of see which, I would say, feedback is valuable and what feedback is not as valuable.
And then you want to ask about career progression and development plans. So you may be applying for a job, but they may have certain things in place that you might really like the position, but you want to know, okay, this is a nice way of saying, will I get pay increases in the future? Will there be opportunities for growth? So you want to ask about career progression and development plans, because that shows that you have an invested interest not only in the position, but growing with the organization as well. And that will actually put them on the toes to also see if that's a company that you want to be a part of, because everything that's shiny may not be gold. So you want to make sure that you're really looking and asking those deeper questions to figure out if it's something that you want to align with your future and your projection for your life. So then we got to remember, life is an interview. Everyone is a potential job offer. Lenora has alluded to it earlier, and Rashia has even said it in the comments. You never know where your next job is going to come from. I can tell you, early on in my professional career, I never interviewed for a position. It was always word of mouth, in a store, making great connections and things like that. The same thing happens for Love is a Parable, the nonprofit that my wife and I run. Everyone is an opportunity, and it may not happen then, but it may happen in the future. Somebody may think of you, something may happen. That's how a lot of my job opportunities came too. A lot of people didn't even know that, one, I was dealing with layoff, but when I put that video out there, everyone came together to say, I know this person, this person, this person, and this person. And guess what? That's a beautiful thing when you realize that there are a lot of people that are resources. Okay?
And Jay, to add to that, for an example, like going to your dentist or going to your doctor, whomever it may be, to the barbershop, to your stylist, you can just have a conversation with these people. Guess what? Your stylist may be a hairstylist, but you're not the only person that they service. They service people from different type of industries, and those doctors and those lawyers and nurses, therapists, all type of job titles, sit in their chair every single day. Not the same person every single day, but you get the point. They sit in their chair and they're telling them about their day. Well, I had a long day. I'm about to lose, Sally, she's about to go because her husband is deploying, so I'm going to have administrative position or, you know, a admin specialist position open. So I'm looking for someone. And then your stylist light bulb goes off and say, you know what? Shanika was in the office the other day. I mean, in my seat the other day, and she told me she was looking for a position. And then that person introduced the two. And guess what? A job opportunity can present itself just from that standpoint. So that's important as well.
Thank you so much for adding that. And I agree. And that's the thing about it is that we all in this together. Absolutely. And just like you are a resource for somebody and somebody can be a resource for you. So don't ever think about that. And one thing that I've learned, I can give you a good example. Look, for guys who don't know, Lenora and I are in the same, we're fraternity and sorority brother and sister. We're both a part of Zeta Phi Beta fraternity. Look, Zeta Phi Beta Sigma fraternity and sorority incorporated, if you don't know it. Hers is Zeta Phi Beta sorority. I am Phi Beta Sigma fraternity incorporated. And we were at the same event. Yes. And we didn't know that we were each other's frat and soror until the end of the event. And that was one thing that connected us, right? Then after that, you start meeting other people that you didn't realize, like Latrenda is a Zeta that is on. Another connection. Yeah. I was at an event on Sunday and I was sitting there talking to a community person and I was like, there's something about this person. I've seen him somewhere. Come to find out, the person who's owning a mosque, opening a mosque, his dad is one of our frat brothers. Wow. So connections are always there and you never know. You have to open your mouth and give people an opportunity to be them, and you never know how those connections happen. I say always be in an expectation of something. You don't necessarily mean that, oh, it's a job offer or this, but be an expectation. I just met a great person. I just did this, or this just happened, or that just happened, because that's what happens. We're an incubator of resources and so many different people that we're connected to. That's what we do business with. Absolutely. People you know. It's rare that we do business with people we don't know. And a lot of times it was chance encounters and all of that. I never thought in a million years that I would be designing Lenora's website. Yeah. Never thought that I'd be doing that, right? Never thought I'd be doing flyers. That's not what we met each other on. Absolutely. But guess what? It happens. And so many other relationships happen out of just having an invested interest in meeting and making new connections. Right. So we're going to get on into this last C now. We done went over the 3 C's, which is clarity, cut, and color. And now we're going to go over the carrot. And this is where you embrace your shine, talking about compensation and negotiating. Okay? You want to make sure that you negotiate and don't bargain. See, bargain is about winning or losing. Negotiating is about compromise. And so you want to consider the whole deal. What am I getting? Like the big picture. Don't just look at salary expectations, because you could get salary and no benefits. Right. Or you could get salary, benefits, and 401k after the first 90 days or after the first year. It depends on the organization. I have seen it. And so some people have abandoned ship, taking other jobs and not realizing that the grass was not only the grass wasn't even greener, the grass was astroturf. So you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for a position to thrive, not just survive.
And Jay, can I add to that as well?
You can, because it's on you anyway.
Okay. So they want to make sure as well that they look and see, how many PTO days do I get? You know, how many sick days do I get? I'm very, very passionate about a company providing professional development to their employees. So what type of professional development programs do you offer your employees, or trainings? Those are other types of questions that you want to ask. Not only that, but what is the flexibility? You have some positions or some companies that allow flexibility within their organization. Now, some may say, well, it's very limited. Okay, that may be true. However, if that is something that you value, then ask that question. During the negotiation process, just ask that question. Address concerns, don't haggle. This is not about haggling a price. This is about addressing concerns about the salary or about the entire deal that is presenting. Any questions that you may have, address them, but don't have them say, well, if I give you this or if I take away this, can I get more here? Don't do that. You know, just address whatever concerns that you have and then move forward to the next step in the process.
Thank you so much for that. And then avoid, ignore, downplay ultimatums of any kind. I thought you was about to go into it and I was going to put it up there because haggling sometimes naturally leads into ultimatum. Well, if you don't give me this, I'm done.
I'm done. Yeah.
No, you don't want to do that. It's just not a good look. It really isn't. And I'm not going to give that away because I'm going to give it back to you. It's on you, Lenora.
So in the process, you want to maintain a sense of perspective on what can I bring to this company and what am I willing to accept, and hopefully what they are willing to offer you. I think that there can be a medium where both the employer and the employee can meet and both walk away from the table with respect and perspective in mind. Saying, for example, if we bring you on, Lenora, to this position within 90 days or within 6 months, we will review your work accomplishments and then we may increase your salary at this particular rate. So those are some other deal breakers that can be factored into the negotiation process, because you may want, maybe I'll say $3,000 more on your salary, where they may not necessarily offer it on the front end, but whenever that time comes around for evaluations or bonuses, that's where that additional money can come from.
Guys, this is an extension of the interview process. At the end of the day, you made it this far because they like what you have. They believe that you are a good fit, right? This could be that final test to see how well you handle conflict. How great are your negotiating skills? How great are you sizing up? All of the competencies that we explained in the beginning for career readiness, this is being challenged when it comes time to negotiate. So you want to make sure that you're doing it. Now, we're not saying don't negotiate at all. We definitely want to give you an opportunity to negotiate, but remember that these are skill sets that we're looking for as an employer to make sure that you have it as a potential employee. So don't blow it when it comes to negotiating when you feel like, well, they're not going to strong arm me or get over on me. No, you want to make sure that you clear, have a better understanding, and you want to realize that this too is part of that interview process and seeing what they have to offer. Okay? And the last thing, guys, just remember to breathe. Remember to take it back. The interview process should be enjoyable. Don't get me wrong. I do understand we have all stressors, but this is an opportunity for you to see what companies better align with what you have for your life, but also to see if you are a good fit for other organizations. And with each interview, you get better. This is a great opportunity to freshen up your skills on doing some type of public speaking, especially for those who want to get into that, doing presentations, especially if you want to get into leadership roles. So getting an opportunity to interview is really incredible because there's several people who don't even get to interview. So welcome that, and remember to just breathe, because there's no one who has the clarity, cut, color, and carrot of you. You're the only one that have the gemstone that you have. So you definitely want to embrace that so that you will position yourself above everyone else. You are a precious stone. You're better than everyone. I think Lauryn Hill said it best. Don't be a hard rock when you really are a gem. So you want to make sure that you embody the preciousness that you are. Now, there are a couple of people that are on watch parties. So if you're on watch parties, make sure you make your way over to Love is a Parable so we can see that you're here, so we can see your comments, and we'll make sure that they are a part as well. Now, I know you're asking like, Jay, that was a lot of information and we're nearing that hour. Well, if you have any questions, you can contact me and the leadership team at loveisaparable.com, but you also can get in touch with Lenora, Lenora Pours by Lenora Lassiter at lenoralassiter.com. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Get in touch with us. We're also on Instagram as well. Get in touch with us. Get engaged. follow, subscribe, like. Tell us even how you like this. Leave us both Google reviews, because this is something that we both want to do. I do have a little bit more latitude because I'm a nonprofit. Love is a Parable. We're a nonprofit. So you can donate so we can continue to offer things like this. But Lenora Pours by Lenora Lassiter is an LLC. And guess what? They do have contracted services. So we want to continue to be in positions to bring back great people like that. And the only way we can do that is by contributions from you guys. So if you want to give. If you want to really get in touch with Lenora to get some of those resume skills that she has, she is a certified professional resume writer. So she has over a decade of experience in the game. She has experience, especially you military people. You definitely want to make sure that you're getting in touch with Lenora. So we're nearing that hour, Lenora. Is there any closing remarks that you have?
I will tell individuals who are listening in, as you kind of alluded to this earlier, Jay, take every interview as a learning experience. Even though you may not get the job offer, just say, hey, I was able to ascertain some additional skills on how to interview. I learned something about the company, not only the company, but I learned even more things about myself. And if you don't get the job, just say to yourself, that position wasn't for me, and just move right along through the process. And as you continue to keep that optimistic type of spirit and positive attitude, soon or later you will land the position that you have a desire for. So don't give up. As Jay said, just breathe throughout this process and look at an interview from a lens of, hey, this is just a conversation piece. Don't go in it feeling intimidated because you hear the word interview. Go in and ask, hey, I'm about to have this conversation. I'm gonna be relaxed and I'm just going to knock it out the park. And yeah, I'm gonna tell you this, being transparent, I've had some interviews and I know I knocked them out the park and I didn't get the position. But at the end of the day, as I stated earlier, I look at it as this, hey, it wasn't meant for me and I'm just gonna keep on moving.
Well, thank you so much, Lenora. I really enjoyed it. This was our first time doing something like this together. And I hope that we continue to do things like this in the future, because I like bringing like free workshops. This is one of the implicit bias, removing those negative isms associated with applying for jobs, right? And being career readiness. So definitely thank you for this. So I definitely want to tell you that from the bottom of my heart, I really enjoyed it. Guys, follow, get books, get all of those things, get connected right now with all of us. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach outside of us. Guys who are viewing, thank you. Those who are doing watch parties, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll continue to bring things like that. But that concludes what we have, and we'll see y'all somewhere around. Lenora, stay on so we'll chat for a second. Thank you, guys.